Dr. Greenspan, could you just start with maybe a basic definition of perfectionism for people who may have their own misunderstandings of it?
To me, to my way of thinking, perfectionism is about three things, really. One is it's about the desire to be perfect. And by that I mean perfect, not almost perfect. It's more than that about the fear of imperfection. It's about a fear of making mistakes. And psychologically, what I've discovered over the years that I've been working on this topic and thinking about it for myself is that perfectionism is an emotional conviction that people have that in order to be fully acceptable, they should make themselves perfect. So perfectionism is about a sense of a lack of acceptability, and the solution for that is to make yourself perfect. So that's what I think about perfectionism and what it is.
So it sounds like then from what you're saying, there's sort of a myth that there's a degree of healthy perfectionism. And what I'm hearing you say is that for the most part it's more fraught with pitfalls.
Yes. Now, let's think about that for a second. It isn't just that perfectionism or one particular form of it is fraught with pitfalls. There's more to it than that, and the reason I distinguish and the reason that I say that perfectionism is typically unhealthy is because there is so much anxiety involved with it, and it's involved with the desire to be perfect and the fear of making a mistake. And there's no sort of good way to experience that. To help people understand that, I always make a distinction between perfectionism and pursuing excellence. And I think that's an important distinction to make, because perfectionism isn't about pushing yourself to be the best. It's not about burning the candle at both ends or going all out. And it's not even about being disappointed when you do something and it doesn't come out perfectly. Perfectionism is about the fear of failure, the anxiety that goes along with that, and it's about the understanding that the route to personal acceptability is perfection. And if you're a person who pursues excellence, you may do all of those crazy things that a lot of perfectionists will do, push yourself beyond the limits and so forth. But if you're not a perfectionist, you're the kind of person who, if you don't quite make the A, or you don't quite win the race, or whatever it is, you're more likely to be able to stand back and say, okay, I didn't make it this time. I'm disappointed, I'm sad about that, or I'm angry about it, or whatever. But I'm going to take a look at what went on and see if I can improve that. And the next time I go out there, I'll be better. You're the kind of person who can say that. A perfectionist may end up saying that, but in the meantime, there's this crushing feeling that what they've just done is to demonstrate that there's really something wrong with them and that they're really not acceptable as a person. And that's very unhealthy. It's always very unhealthy. And so if we can make this distinction between pursuing excellence and perfectionism, I think that can make that a little bit clearer.
Okay. And as part of that, I hear maybe individuals working with some cultural expectations in understanding the difference between perfectionism and pursuit of excellence. And I guess as parents, how can we help our kids navigate that in a way that is healthy, or what can we do to redirect them?
It depends on whether you're talking about parents working with perfectionistic kids,
yeah,
or working with kids in general and hoping to avoid having them become perfectionistic.
Well, and there is the concern, are there things that we maybe do as parents, directly or indirectly, that can kind of foster a certain tendency toward perfectionism that maybe we should be aware of?
Yeah, in my estimation, perfectionism, it's what we call in psychology a relational issue. Mm-hmm. What that means is that it's environmentally generated. It isn't genetic, and it's not a form of mental illness. It's a personality constellation that comes up, And it comes up because of the developmental environment that kids find themselves in. So parents will frequently contribute to this, not because they intend to, and not because they're doing something bad to their kids, but because there's certain things that they may not recognize about themselves and about their relationship with their kids, and there's certain things that they may not recognize about how their children are understanding what the parents are saying to them. So the result of that is that, as a general matter, I like to have parents do a couple of things. One is to if their kids are doing well in school, for example, it's important to be excited about that, and to tell the kids you feel really great about the fact that they're making good grades and doing well in school, but to remind them that if they didn't do so well, that wouldn't change the way the parents feel about them, that they're going to love them just as much, whether they make the A or not. They're proud of the fact that they can make an A, but that's not why they love them. I really think it's important for parents to make that distinction, whether or not their kids are perfectionistic. I think it's also important for parents to make the distinction between what you're doing and how you're doing it. I frequently am talking with parents about what we call the encouragement process, for example. And what that means is affirmations about things that we like and appreciate about our kids, separate from what they can actually do. So